for this old Granada. First thing we got is a cable to hopefully replace that crappy linkage we've got for the kickdown. Hopefully that'll work and I'll be able to jimmy rig that in there somehow. We've also got this gigantic box of exhaust parts. Got some cheapest things that resemble a muffler here. A couple of cherry bomb glass packs. They were pretty cheap, so I bought a couple of them. And exhaust clamps. They were like 90 cents a piece, and you can never have too many, so in the quantity I just wrote yes, and they sent me a ton of those. Got some elbows and connectors and all that kind of cheap stuff because I hate welding. And we've got a rebuild kit for the power steering. Don't know if I'm going to do that right away, but at least we can get the exhaust on and quiet it up maybe a decibel or two. And that kickdown cable, that's going to be important. I've also got a vacuum modulator on the way, not here yet. I checked all the vacuum lines underneath, they were fine, but there was a little bit of rust on the back side of that modulator, so I'm thinking maybe that could be a problem too, so we're just going to replace it when that comes in, and hopefully the thing will shift. Alright, I got the old green machine off the ground here, and I think we're going to start with this cable. That looks like you need some sort of an engineering degree to install, but I think we'll figure it out. And I think we're going to start at the bottom side and check out that lever on the transmission and see if we can't get that off. And put that one on and find a place to bolt that sucker. And then we can work on the fun part, which is the top, I think. Trying to figure out how we can hook that up to make it work. Well, let's crawl underneath and take a peek. Alright, there's my kickdown lever, as you can see here. So I'm going to need to take that off, and then maybe we can put the bracket back on one of these two bolts here. Maybe, we'll see. And then put that new arm on. We'll pull it backwards. Yeah, it should work, I think. Let's get that arm off of there and see what she looks like. Alright, I think I got her installed here on the bottom. Looks like it'll work. And we'll pull that up. And I just bolted it up there. On that bolt, there were no instructions, so we're just going to wing it, but I think that'll be fine. Pulls it up the way it needs to go. So let's hit up top and see what we can do with the cable up there. Alright, I got the cable hooked up at the bottom in a way that looks like it'll work. Now I get to go with the fun part, the top. And I think I can bolt this bracket onto this bolt down here. And that should hold the cable there. And then I'm going to have to figure out a way to attach that gray piece to this peg where the original rod was. I think I'm going to have to drill this out a little bit bigger so I can use the original peg. It comes with a little bolt-in peg that'll fit right in there. But to use it, I think I would have to cut this off and drill a hole and modify the carburetor, and I don't want to do that, so I think I'm just going to drill that gray piece out and then make it fit that, and I can use the original E-clip. I should be able to. That's kind of a little landing for it. Pop right on there. I think that'll work. Let's give it a try anyway. Well, we got the cable installed on top here, and if that is not the most beautiful cable setup you've ever seen, I don't know what is. It rubs on everything just like it should. It's bolted in places it shouldn't be. Things have been modified. It's great. But you know what? It does its job. It pulls the kick down over, and it allows it to release all the way, so I'm not going to complain. If any of you want to complain, just remember this thing was living under a pine tree about a month ago, so anything's an improvement. I think this cable will work for now until I can find a proper rod and make it actually right. I don't think this cable would last too long, but for right now it doesn't have to. But I think I'm going to crawl into the car now. I got my new vacuum modulator, and we'll throw that in, and it should make the transmission work again. Alright, we're under the car here, and there is my vacuum modulator that I'm going to replace. Now I looked through all the vacuum lines, everything was still hooked up, all the lines looked pliable, and I didn't see any big cracks in them. But what I did find when I pulled that line off was there was some rust in the back of the line there and on the back of the modulator. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace that and see if that helps. So I'll get it pulled out, and hopefully you can see the rust once I get it out of there. Alright, we got the old vacuum modulator out, and I don't know how well you're going to see it, but it kind of looks like they're a little rusty in the back there. So I got that out. I'll swap that pin, and we'll throw the new one in. I went for the green stripe one because, you know, it's a green car. Gotta have things match. I think that's the right one anyway. So swap the pin, pop this back in before I lose all of my transmission fluid, and hook it back up, and hopefully it'll work. Alright, I've got the new vacuum modulator in under the car there. That should be all good. I topped off most of the transmission fluid that I drained out of it, so that should be pretty close. I'll check it when we fire it up. But we do have a problem here. I went ahead and I filled up the bowl here just to see if it leaks, and of course it leaks. Unknown to me, because I've never had one of these Hollies apart and I wasn't paying much attention. Under these bolts I believe there are O-rings, and I think I destroyed the one that was there. So I don't think that setup's gonna work. I'll have to get another O-ring, take that bracket off and put the O-ring in there, and then I'll have to come up with another way to mount that cable. I got a hole there. I should be able to fabricate some sort of a bracket and come up and make the cable work, but yeah, original idea is not going to work. That's why we try things and check them out before we go driving. So I'll see if I can figure something out and fix that. Alright, I got that bracket taken off and that bolt back in. I guess there was a little gasket behind there, and that wasn't damaged. The gas was just leaking between the bolt and this bracket here. So I've taken the bracket off, put that back in. It doesn't look like it's leaking, so we're good there. And I think I've come up with a solution for the bracket. I dug through my buckets of junk and I found this little wrench, and went ahead and I bent it to a 90 there, and it looks like I'll be able to set it on the intake and then put that bolt through, and then I'll remove that bracket that's on there, and this will go in there, and it should hold that where I need it. I hope this isn't too flimsy to work. There's not a whole lot of tension on that cable, so not a lot of force pulling on it, so it should be okay. But we'll give that a try and see if it'll work. Alright, I got my cable professionally installed. I had to turn my little wrench bracket 90 degrees and then put a 90-degree twist in it so I could avoid this accelerator pump linkage. And I got it in there, and it looks pretty decent. It looks like it'll work. Not binding against anything. That cable's not rubbing anymore. That's cool. And I think it'll be alright. I'm going to go ahead and leave this huge tail on here in case I have to mess with it again at some point. But that's installed. Hopefully with that and the vacuum modulator, this transmission will shift. And now we can move on to the exhaust. I had to order a few more parts, a few more exhaust pieces, and then we can professionally install that. That should be nice. Alright, I got all my pieces, parts, and went ahead and got my exhaust on. Beautifully cobbled together, of course, but I don't care as long as it blows most of the smoke out the back and it doesn't fall off. I'm going to call that a win. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up, see how it sounds, and then I got to top off the transmission fluid, make sure that's good, and then we can drive it, and hopefully the transmission does what it's supposed to do. So let's see what it's going to sound like. a little quieter. I can hear some noises up here now I didn't hear before, but yeah, not bad. As you can see, I got a gas leak I'm going to have to fix at some point. But let's let her off the jack stand and take her for a bit of a drive and see if it shifts. Alright, see if she'll actually shift now. Hopefully I don't lose my exhaust. She's pretty low, not gonna lie. Just try to avoid the speed bumps, I guess. I can hear it rattling the bumps, rattling the gravel already off of that exhaust. Nice. Well, it seems to be driving better. I'm low on power steering fluid, I can feel that. Yep, we drug the exhaust there a bit. As long as we don't tear it completely off. Yeah, don't sound too bad. Yeah, bumps. See, the problem is to run a dual, I don't really have room because there's a cutout in the right side cross member for the transmission, but not the driver's side, so I'm kind of screwed on that front. Well, bonus, I can grade the driveway while I drive. Yeah, you can see the little divot I took out there of the grass. Nice. Well, now that it's somewhat quiet, it seems to be shifting okay. I can probably make it run halfway decent. Don't like bumps. She pulls pretty good. Yeah, it stops alright. Roll the window down. Yeah, ain't bad. Alright. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe if I can tuck that exhaust up a little higher. And I gotta fix that fuel leak, otherwise I can't keep more than half a tank in it. Yeah, not too bad.